Hi guys, welcome to another Monday morning chat with Stephanie Murphy and Rosella Erler in Spokane, Washington, Spokane County, all of Eastern Washington, as I say. Hi ladies, how are you today?
Good. Hi.
Good. Always good to see you. You're looking good. You guys are looking really good. It's like dressed up going to a party or selling a house or something. What's going on?
Something. Definitely not the party. We're definitely in work mode, beginning of the year.
We've been busy, actually.
Yes. How are things looking in the market over there?
We wanted to share, today we're going to discuss the Deer Park, Suncrest region, just outside of Spokane. Deer Park's actually where
I live.
Stephanie reside, and I live just outside of Suncrest. So we thought it would be fitting to share a little bit for our area about
what's active.
Yeah, our market overview and stuff, the most recent.
I like it.
Actually, a couple of fun things that we wanted to share as well on there that were kind of intriguing. All right, what's our sweet spot? How many actively listed in those two areas is
32 homes.
32
between the two areas, which
32 doesn't, it's not very many to pick and choose from. The sweet spot for price point for that is going to be your 400 to
425.
425. That's where they're kind of
sitting and hanging out.
Okay.
What feeds into that too is probably a lot of new construction. There's a lot of new construction happening within Deer Park, and then over in your area too, actually up in the Suncrest.
Yep.
There's a lot of buyer incentives from the builders.
Good.
Which good. They're giving somewhere even the upwards of $20,000 to $30,000 purchasing credits that can be used for closing costs, buying down the actual purchase price of the home. You can mix and match.
You are so accurate on the new builds, because Suncrest also has the new builds, and those builders are the ones that have the wiggle room and the leeway to be able to offer you that 5% rate. It's very interesting because the other main price point that's showing up where the active homes are at are going to be that 625 to 675 price point.
I feel like,
look at how many.
So from 625 all the way down
even
to
up to
800,000 actually is going to be the other higher point. My reasoning for that.
That's crazy. That's that new build up in Suncrest.
But it's also because when you find houses that are on land, oftentimes that's going to drive that price up a little bit more because you're getting more, obviously, than just the home. So those.
And by land, do you mean like acreage, like 5? What's a typical acreage? What would you consider a house on land with nice acreage? How big?
Probably a sum of 10.
Okay, that's a lot of acreage. Yeah.
I would say a minimum of 10. I think 5 would be.
But most lots right now are being sold off at 10 acres around here.
If you subdivide lower than 10, then you can't. A lot of areas there's rules. I know Suncrest 9 Mile area, you cannot.
That's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, you cannot subdivide and then resell the parcels with multiple homes on them lower than 10 acres.
So your density, is not as great as it would be in town.
Right.
So you can get some land. And then a lot of those, I would say, again, with that price point, is you're going to be seeing houses that are going to be a little bit larger in footprint, as well as having additional outbuildings that offer, a little bit more of that value with that purchasing price. The ones that you're going to be seeing, like we said, that sweet spot of the,
400 to 425. I would say those are going to be your new builds in the community inside of the city limits that are on the smaller lot.
Yep.
So what's the marketing time you think for that lower price point home? How quick are they going to go?
How many days on market?
They're averaging about 35 days on market for sold. So, and that's actually both price points, even the higher price points averaging right at the 30-day on. Yeah. So that's good.
And I think, again, reason being, because if you were going to be a buyer, in fact, I just took a new client yesterday.
With our inventory, there's no inventory hardly.
Well, there's no inventory, but in addition to that, because again, pricing, as we know, we just came off of a really super hot building market from basically COVID to about 2022, 2023, before inflation jumped prices up so much that a lot of reserves, which are required when you start building properties, if you were to say buy a piece of land that doesn't have those amenities, meaning water, power, sewer, you need the cash. You need, those reserves typically, unless you're doing some sort of a construction loan that's going to be dripping that to you. And a lot of people, I will say, because I've had clients that do this too, they have the intent to build, they already have the land, but they've pushed pause simply because of pricing to build right now. So
oh yeah, okay,
that's why oftentimes the higher price point, I think you're seeing, that is also another area that people are focusing on, because people want that ready, done product already, and they can get that.
They had intended on building it themselves, and they were no longer capable of building it themselves because the cost had risen so much. So now they're going and buying the already built new home that they maybe hadn't intended on buying before.
Yep. But I would say there is a lot of different land options that are still available around here. Some are, you know, partially amenities being put in. And like I said, those ones that have pushed pause. I would definitely be paying attention to what happens in this upcoming year, because you may be able to start acquiring some of those where they have certain properties that have some amenities already started, which is great.
Yep, and they hadn't gotten them finished.
Yeah, and I would say, so if anybody is curious, I just did a quote for somebody the other day. To do a well, I would anticipate anywhere from like 75 to 125 is probably what you're going to be paying. But
that's how much your quote bid was for the well.
Oh yeah,
that's for drilling the well.
How much?
55.
Dang, I don't know.
That was last year.
Well, but again,
that's crazy.
Different
depth, different our area. You have to go so deep for wells.
And in addition to that, your time to get it done, a lot of people are on a waiting list, and it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year.
They were over a year out last year. They were still over a year out. A well drilled, the land for new construction. So those are just some really rough numbers. Obviously, you know, if you know somebody in the business, or you have a friend, obviously sometimes you can get that friends and family discount for, you know, that well being drilled. And we're speaking to the Deer Park, Suncrest area about these things specifically because these are more rural communities.
Yep.
They are more known for their acreage and homes that are out on land. And they're not necessarily known for people wanting to buy in town, other than like more of the newer builds. They do have older homes, but that's not what's typically going or being seen. Yeah. So when we're talking about rural and those things, that's just for the buyers typically are looking out in the Deer Park area and things to kind of know about and to look out for.
Yeah. Okay. But there's also, you know, newer houses that are on the acreage as well. Because again, I would say that in that early 2020-ish and that swing for the next couple of years, we saw a lot of new construction come out in the more rural areas. Obviously, we know COVID pushed a lot of people out because they could to the more rural community, you know, working remote, all the above.
The barn dominiums, that's what showed up. The barn dominium on 10 acres. That's like what the headline now. Barn dominium on 10 acres.
White with black trim.
White with black trim. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah. Until we realize that the rust here is so bad, the sides of these white homes are going to be so rusted out. But we're not talking about.
You're gonna have to paint or whatever.
Paint. Yeah. But anyway, so that's a quick rundown on how the market for Deer Park Suncrest is
kind of looking. Yeah, we'll do another one for you guys again with in town. So probably like I would say Mead and like maybe northern Spokane or something, or even Hill. But
out of the 32,
let's take a tour of the area with you guys. That'll be fun.
That's a fun little tidbit. Out of those 32 listings under the price point of 400, there are only 5 homes on market that are under the price point of 400,000. Just so that everybody knows. So.
Okay, so you have stated some of the benefits. It's rural. You get a little more acreage, it sounds like, and certainly that rural living. What would that same home on, let's say, 5-10 acres, even if it's available, closer to Spokane cost? What's the price differential between Deer Park and when you get closer to the city?
There's not 10 acres closer to town. Everything's already been subdivided down lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in the day when they could, I'm trying to remember if it was late 90s, early 2000s, they subdivided a lot of lots down to just under 5 acres. I think it's like around 4.5 acre parcels. And then those are old homes. So you don't find anything over 10 acres.
And if much closer. I would say
at least 5.
I was having some fun looking
at least 500,000 or anything closer.
I'm gonna shock you even.
600.
So when I just was looking on the outskirts of say like Central Valley area, so Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake, Otis Orchards, something that's on acreage, even sizable acreage, meaning like 100 acres, you're looking in the millions. The highest listing that we have currently in Spokane is
8 million.
8,950,000. I mean, the house is ginormous, but the acreage that it's on,
How much land was it on?
like 150, and it's
The little mini
nothing.
ranch.
Well, to
Hobby
be honest,
ranch.
I don't even know. And honestly, it's backing up from Trent to the back Forker Road. So you have prairie to then some
Farmland, agricultural.
maybe. I don't know.
I'd say farmland.
I don't even know if you could even classify it up.
Well, if anybody wants to look at a house that's on 150 acres, it's ginormous from what I've heard.
That would be the one benefit to something like that, honestly. But most of the time in town, you're going to be finding probably your biggest lot would maybe be an acre.
Yeah.
If that, and that would be an older home.
Suncrest area. So the Suncrest area, actually, the community has, most of the homes are on 1 acre lots within the Suncrest community.
Yep.
So that area, you're going to find a little bit more land closer to the community for like your 10 acres. But if you start heading into that Spokane region anymore, the 10 acres are going to get smaller and smaller pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then in town for that price point of the 4 to 450, you're going to be on maybe a 0.15 to maybe not that maybe 2.5 lot.
Yeah.
And then the house that you would be purchasing would probably see some updates, I would say.
It would be older for sure, needing updates. Absolutely.
So you might.
So more expensive in town.
Absolutely.
One more thing. What's the drive for someone who doesn't know the area? If you wanted to get to Deer Park in downtown Spokane, how long would that take, that drive?
30 minutes.
So to get to downtown, the heart of downtown Spokane is only about 30 minutes. Yeah. From Deer Park to the airport is 45 minutes. And from Deer Park to your closest, like say Costco, Fred Meyer's, stuff like that, like your bigger, Mead, it's about 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is going to be about 30 minutes to the airport, and you're about 25 minutes outside of north side of Spokane.
And then the spread between Deer Park to Suncrest, because that's basically the east to the west, is about 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
That's quite a bit of, a little bit of land there, little area.
Yeah.
Cool. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
It's so pretty that if you're making the commute like I am every day, it's so worth it because it is such a beautiful drive that 20, 30 minutes goes by so fast.
And it's a highway. Well maintained. That's the other nice thing. They get plowed first because
our school districts need to be able to utilize the county roads, so they get out and plow those bright and early for the schools. So commute is actually not that bad coming and going in and out of the rural areas.
What is it? Highway 291?
I take a few highways to get out here.
And then Highway 395 and Highway 2 is what runs north forward to get to Deer Park and that kind of El Chattaway area as well. So
commutes are good.
Makes it nice and easy.
Thanks for the overview today, ladies.
Absolutely.
We'll pick another location, give some more information for, some of the more in-town numbers. So that way people know what active listings are there, what those days on market look like, and what the sweet spot is there. So then that way, out of town.
Yeah, let's absolutely do that. We'll tour the area. You guys can show us the goods and the bads and lower cost areas and higher costs and why they are that way. That'd be fun.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Rosella. Thank you, Stephanie. Always good to chat with you too. I always enjoyed it. You have so much energy. It's awesome.
Thanks for doing the Monday market updates with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you. All right. See you, ladies.
Bye.